Very excited to be speaking with you about Archie.
Oh, thanks.
Laura, oh my God, you had me doing double takes watching this. You look so much like Dyan as it is, but then do the hair, the makeup, the clothes, and I would have sworn, and then the laugh. You got the freeing way that Dyan laughs, and especially back in those days, and she'd toss her head back a little bit with her, and her laugh is a very sincere, honest laugh. And you have this nailed, and I kept thinking, I am looking at Dyan Cannon on screen.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. Thank you very much.
You just amazed me. Now, for an actor such as yourself, did you have any kind of trepidation about tackling a role like Dyan Cannon, and not just tackling that role, playing that living person, but in this context of Cary Grant's story as Archie?
Yeah, did I have any trepidation? I mean, I think mostly I was so excited to get to do it. I couldn't believe that they were going to let me do it. But of course, you always think, well, I always think I'm going to mess it up. And, you know, with the people attached, with Jeff Pope and Paul Andrew Williams and Jason Isaacs, I definitely didn't want to fall on my face. So I did, like you say, I did so much prep and work before we started, so that I just felt like I need to be so over prepared so that I don't fall on my face here. So I kind of, by the time we actually got to the shoot, and I spent so much time working on her and talking to her, and she gave me so much confidence. Her endorsement of me gave me so much confidence, I think. That really helped me along the way. And then Paul Andrew Williams is like the most supportive, encouraging, kind director that I've ever worked with. He would, you know, like on set, he's very, you know, sort of, he's fairly down to business, but he would take the time every so often to make sure he took you aside and say, you know, you're doing a brilliant job, this is amazing, I'm so excited and happy. He really sort of took care of us. So I think he probably calmed my nerves hugely, as did Dyan.
Well, in addition to speaking with Dyan and really getting that opportunity to get into her head and see her mannerisms, hear her voice, her laugh, did you, as part of your research, what else did you dive into? Did you screen her films? You know, what was your process like there? Your own research process.
Her book was obviously like hugely helpful because it's what Jeff used to write the script. So that was like a cheat sheet. That was amazing. And then I watched a ton of her films, but also I found the most interesting thing to watch was her being interviewed because, you know, she's not playing a character in those scenarios. She's more herself. And like you said about the laugh, she's very quick to laugh. You kind of get her sense of her energy, how happy she is as a person, how open she is. I think those interviews were probably the most helpful thing to watch, to kind of get a little key into who she was.
Mm-hmm. Did you have, for a project like this, and because here you are portraying the life of an iconic figure, let's face it, Cary Grant is an iconic figure in history and definitely in cinema. Did you have the luxury of extensive rehearsal time, especially working with Jason?
No, we went to lunch. That was it. And then the first scene we did, I was giving birth, and the second scene I was breaking up, and then on day 2 we were having sex. We were straight in the deep end.
Oh my God. Well, and that's a really weird order to be doing things.
Yes. Yes. The director had said to me early on, he was sort of, like when we were sort of talking before we started, he said, oh, they were trying to put your sex scene on the first day. And I was like, that's so out of order, so don't worry, I've got it moved for you. And I said, when is it now? And he said, it's on the second day.
After childbirth.
After childbirth, yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's an interesting scheduling by Paul. Wow.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you to Scott Bates, our first AD.
Capturing Dyan's spirit, so much of this, it does fall to the hair, makeup, and the clothing. How much did, especially the clothes, inform your performance and the character? Because there's Dyan when she first meets Cary Grant. Then we have Dyan when Cary is trying to change her and put her in Chanel and designer clothes, which look much more matronly than a 22-year-old or 23-year-old woman.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was meeting with costume and makeup, we were very mindful of that journey that we wanted to go on to sort of, like, you know, really help the audience see what was going on. And what was actually going on is that he, you know, got more and more controlling, and her hair went from this sort of freer style into more of a set. The clothes became tailored, less free, no short stuff. So that was really helpful as sort of, you know, a visual assistance to what was going on and what was going on with her mentally. And I think those clothes all sort of change maybe, you know, how you hold yourself. But also I was, you know, we were thinking about that journey a lot. And so when I was in those slightly more buttoned-up suits, like when I go to visit his mother, physically I try to be a little bit more awkward and hold myself differently than I am at the beginning or at the end when I'm in my more sort of comfortable, not literally comfortable clothes, but clothes that Dyan feels are her and feels more comfortable in. So hopefully you can see in my physicality, you know, that you know, she's changing, she looks different. Everything about her is sort of shrinking as she becomes more and more what Cary is controlling her into or channeling her into.
Oh, your physicality, definitely. 1,000%, Laura. You can see the change. I love the costuming they have for you in the 1960s with the sleeveless shift dresses with the prints. It was just, that was the fashion at the time. And then shorts and, you know, a button-down shirt, sleeveless, tied up at the waist, going on auditions or acting class.
Yeah,
it was
sort of more playful, even when she's making an effort for the audition and she's got the blue dress on. It's still more playful than anything Cary would pick for her. We were really mindful of that.
I think the scene that really stands out for the uncomfortableness and where your physicality really shifts is the first time you go to meet Elsie.
Yeah, that's something that costume made to copy a Chanel suit that we have pictures of Dyan in.
I mean, the costuming, it is perfect, but to see the shift that you have, and then with the mink coat, the whole thing, the uncomfortableness with, you'll model the mink coat for Elsie.
Oh, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? She's trying so hard, Dyan. She's sort of trying to be this other person that he wants her to be, and then like only allowing herself, I think, occasionally to really think about what's happening. Like there's a tiny bit when I get all those clothes delivered and I'm going to show him the dress, I put it on and I look in the mirror and it's like, yeah, it's amazing, it's designer, it's an expensive dress, but there's sort of a glimmer of doubt, like, but is it me? Is this who I am? Of course, you know, who wouldn't get carried away in the moment and go, oh my God, this is incredible, I think you've done a really nice thing for me, I think, you know, it's hard.
But this is one of the great things that you do, because you did not, same as Jason did with Cary Grant, it's not a mimicry. You didn't do a caricature, you didn't mimic Dyan, but you really capture the essence. And I'm glad that you mentioned that you watched interviews that she did, because when she did interviews on talk shows, she was just, that's Dyan. That's Dyan.
Yeah. so funny, so free, so bold, you know, quite challenging sometimes. I fell in love with her on those Johnny Carson interviews.
What was, for you, the most challenging aspect of not only playing this character, this performance, but the entire experience? Because here, it's not just the idea of Cary Grant, it's the people that crossed in his circles, the Grace Kellys, the Audrey Hepburns. As an actor, did this kind of hit you? It's like, oh my God, these really were real people.
Yeah, I think part of that just almost feels magical and like not really real. I think the challenge and the thing I was really mindful of was wanting to get across this massive spirit, as you say, at the beginning before it diminishes, so you feel the difference. But then also, we have so little time to fall in love, really, and I really wanted everyone to feel like she was genuinely in love with him. She wasn't some silly girl falling in love with a movie star. She really had those feelings, because sadly in some of the earlier scripts we lost, you know, her agent and her home. And it was really important to me because of how much I believe in Dyan, that we understood that she didn't just, you know, fall at the first hurdle and go, yes, Cary Grant, great, I'm in. You know, she was really her own person. And, you know, she rejected him many times before she just couldn't stop herself falling in love with him. So I think I was really adamant, and it was important to me that we saw those things very clearly, and that she didn't look like a gold digger or anything horrible like that, because that's just not the reality of what happened. So I just really wanted to pack that sort of energy and love into those early scenes. That was the most important thing to me, just to really, you know, give Dyan the credit that she deserves.
You did an amazing job doing it. So I've got one last question for you, Laura. I'm curious, this is obviously the biggest challenge and role you've had to date. As an actor, what did you learn about yourself with this performance that you can now take forward into future performances?
Gosh. I agree with you. It probably is the biggest challenge that I've had to date, but also the biggest honour and the most fun. I think I don't know if this answers your question, but I enjoyed every second of it, and I made sure that I did that, because these jobs don't come around that often where you get to do something like this. I think maybe I didn't realise that I'd not lost my confidence, but I think Paul Andrew Williams, our director, is such an incredible champion of everyone on the set, and he makes everyone's voice feel equal and heard and important. And he was constantly coming to me and asking me what I think and asking me my opinion. And I think it made me feel like I have something to contribute. And I think maybe that had dulled some way along the line. So I think it's given me more confidence going into what I'm doing now and what I've done since.
I can't wait to see what you bring us next, Laura.
Oh, thank you very much.
As I said, you mesmerized me with your performance here, and I've already binge-watched the entire 4 episodes twice.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I did 8 hours in a row. I watched all 4 first, and then I started all over again.
Wow.
You and Jason, in particular, I'm talking award-worthy performances from both of you. So
that's really kind of you.
I truly hope
Other people agree.
I truly hope come award season for a miniseries like this that your names get called out for awards along the line, because it's truly magical watching both of you.
Oh, it's really kind of you. I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Laura, thank you so much. And I can't wait till we chat again in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, thanks so much. This was great.